Hello everybody, my name is Lucario. Today I'm going to be talking about our Season 7 of the Dungeon Tournament. And this is just going to be going over the rules, everything you need to know, basically, banned items, whatever, So, first things first is the tournament will be going live on November 7th, so it's got about, I believe, 2 weeks, somewhere around there anyways. It'll go on for 2 weeks and it'll end on November 21st. You have until the end of that first week to join this tournament if you so wish. The prize pool is going to be set to 1 million this time. Usually we do about 2 to 3, but I got some stuff going on right now, and most I can really afford to spare is about 1 million gold. So we're going to go ahead and go with that. And I don't think it's really that big of an issue, but So first things first with the rules. Let me go ahead and pull these up so I can read them one by one. Number one, teams will consist of 2 players, but there will be no class stacking. So you can't go in with 2 brewmasters, can't go in with 2 disc priests. If you're going to go in at all, you need to just make sure that you're playing something different. And the main reason for that is, one, I don't want no gimped gameplay or just power stacking. I'd rather see some like diversity. And that's something that I kind of argue with some of the some of the elitists that like to participate in some of the stuff we do. It's not fun to see a bunch of the same thing over and over and over. I'd rather see something different. Like, I want to see how creative you can get if you brought in like an outlaw rogue and a havoc demon hunter. I want something like that. Make me have a good time watching this or participating against it. That's what I want to see. Number 2, only 2 characters may be in the dungeon at the same time, and each of the two characters must be level 30. I think that one kind of goes without saying because this is teams of 2. Unfortunately, I do have to specify that because there's always somebody who tries to go against the common sense narrative of what the rules are. This happens every single time, and it's usually by some tryhards because they always want to be like, well, technically, you didn't say... No. You understand what you're doing. There is no reason for you to act like this. That's just my input on it. I find it very exhausting. I've had to argue with people over this kind of stuff many times, and I'm just kind of to the point now where it's like, if I have to treat you like you're stupid, then I'm going to make the rules to make you feel like you're stupid. Number 3, this one kind of goes without saying, but all bosses must die. If you're clearing the dungeon, you obviously have to kill every boss. So, number 4, Warcraft logs will be required. This is just a way for us to make sure that you're not cheating. Originally, I had it where you had to have an officer watching your submission. And I figured, at least with Warcraft logs, you don't really need that because we'll be able to see everything, so I think it's fine. Number 5, no exploits to stack verse trinkets to 20 instantly. There are a couple trinkets where you can immediately just bug it out, and you'll be able to just basically start off immediately at full power when it's not supposed to work that way. There's like a fishing technique or something. I don't know. I haven't actually got to see it, but I've heard people talk about it. It's interesting that people are smart enough to figure out how to do this stuff. However, it is very dishonest and very just... It's a garbage... It is a garbage method. And I don't agree with it. I'm not a fan of it. I'd rather people do this correctly. And I honestly hate that I even have to, even talk about that because I feel like this pretty much is just common sense. But people are going to do what people are going to do, so... Number 6, filming your runs are required. Now, I have 2 reasons for this. Number 1, I'd like to be able to review your footage. And I know we have Warcraft logs, but I'd like to make sure that you're not doing anything visually. And number 2, I would like to have the footage of it so I can compile it to making a video. Just anything for content. That's what I'm after. Out of all the tournaments, we've only really recorded 2 of them, so I'd like to be able to use the footage. So, moving on. Number 7, the timer for and tracking of completion of the dungeon will be tracked by my good friend Mr. Fate's add-on. The add-on you can download in Curse Curse Forged or whatever it's called. The add-on is called Legacy 30. It's just going to be used to track your progress bar. It's going to treat the dungeon like Mythic Plus, basically. And at the end of it, you need to take a screenshot, so it'll be just extra verification. I have a section set up where you can just like post your times and everything. And we'll be basically going off the tournament with that. I'll touch more on that in a little bit. Number 8, you can do as many runs during the time period as you like. Now, this is a 2-week tournament. We never do 2-week tournaments. It's always like you have to get an officer to submit your run, or we have an actual short time frame of like 2 to 3 hours whenever we do like professional versions of this. But I feel like 2 weeks is just more generous than anything, so I feel like people got plenty of time to do what they got to do. And if you're not satisfied with your run, well, you got 2 weeks to redo it, and you can do it as much as you want. So hopefully you could beat your previous score, or if you're satisfied with what you got, just submit it and then GG. Number 9, your score will be recorded on the Discord for all to see. You may try to outdo your score while the tournament happens. That kind of goes hand in hand with number 8. I had to specify it, I guess. But yeah, whenever you submit your score, obviously you can go back and redo it if you want. But other people will be able to see what your time was for that run. And I feel like that's a good idea because it just makes me... If I see another team do better in like a certain dungeon, I'm going to want to go back and probably try to see if I can beat that or figure out how the hell they did that. So I think it's fine. I think it's fine. Let's see, where are we at? Number 10. There will be 4 dungeons to run for this tournament, last one being Heroic. Now this is just a common thing. We do this one every single time. This is all of our dungeons are like this. Bar from the last one being Heroic. I don't think we did Heroic the last time. And I think it's because we were streaming it. Maybe the last 2 times, but typically the last one's always a Heroic dungeon, which means it's going to be from BC or Wrath. Part of the dungeon tournaments, I like these like quick, fast-paced dungeons. Sometimes people want to put like the hardest, most obnoxious thing in there. And I mean, I'm not opposed to that. I think it's much healthier and just better for everyone else and more inviting for people if they just have something quick. So, obviously with the Heroic one, you can do it once a day. So you have 14 attempts with the Heroic one. Number 11, the tournament will run for 2 weeks. During that time, you have plenty of time to run the dungeons as much as you need. It's not really a rule, but it's just more of like, again, hammering it in that you have 2 weeks to do this. I know it feels like it's very repetitive, but I mean, again, there are people who will literally ignore what you're saying and then they'll act stupid. This happens almost every single time. So I have reasons why I type it out the way I do. Number 12, you can play any class and spec and will not be locked onto anything for your runs. So in the old days, once you picked a class, picked a character, you were stuck on that character. We're not going to do that this time. So if you want to play Windwalker, you're fine. If you want to play Marksman afterwards, you're fine. If you want to change your specs in the middle of the run, you're fine. You don't have to be stuck playing the same thing. You can do it how you want to do it. As long as it's following the guidelines anyways. So, number 13, you can do skips within the dungeon, but you're not allowed to do skips that fully leave the map geometry. So what I mean by this is if you get to a certain area and you want to use like a demonic gateway, that's perfectly fine. If you want to do a heroic leap, as long as it doesn't leave the invisible barrier of the map itself, that's fine. Now, I have to say that because certain people will play demon hunters, warriors, evokers, whatever, and they'll sit there and try to leave the map. I don't want people to do that. We had somebody try to do that before, and it was just very, very frustrating because it obviously means that you can't play anything else, for one. Number 2, it's cheating. Actually, the cheating part should have been number 1, but you get the point of what I'm saying. Like, if you want to do a cool little gimmick and use a gateway and go through something, if that works for you, that's awesome. You have my blessing. Go ahead and do that. Other than that, go into the beneath world. We're not going to have that. I will not allow that in my tournament. Number 14, you may only have 1 tank or healer on the team. And I feel like this is I think this is a perfectly fine rule. I already had a little bit of pushback on this one. Because somebody wanted to just bring 2 tanks and just like muscle through everything. Because, you know, the high survivability. Now, we're not going to do that because we're not going to do World of Tanks. Like, I don't know if anybody remembers, there was a season in Overwatch where playing tanks was the only thing you should do, or that you should play. And that was the entire season. It was just everyone was playing that tank. Healer, same thing too. Like, it's just... I don't realistically see people bring in a healer unless they just absolutely need it for whatever reason. But I think it'd be fine if they do. Like, I play healer. I may or may not use it for this. We'll see. I have some nice little gimmicks I can do that are legal. But I don't know. It's not really high DPS, so... number 15, you are required to stick together, so no going separate wings in the dungeon. So what do I mean by this? Because there was a lot of confusion about this, a lot of blowback on this rule. People were not happy about this. I'm not saying that you have to run shoulder to shoulder, or you have to be, like, in the same frame. What I'm saying is, I don't want people breaking off to go separate ways. I can't keep up with what you're doing. We can't obviously see what you're doing. And it's a good, easy way for somebody to cheat and exploit, and I don't want that to be a part of this. I really didn't understand why this one was so hard for people to understand. It's just kind of obvious, you know what I mean? And on top of that, like, using the add-on, it may or may not even pick up, like, say you go separate ways, and who's ever streaming with the add-on, using the add-on, the other people in the other part of the dungeon may not be even adding credit to that bonus. Or to the progress or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, it may not even work. So the best way to do that is just for people to just, you know, work together. Also, it's a tournament to work together. I don't understand why people have difficulty understanding the most basic concept of this, but it is what it is. And I know it sounds like I'm attacking or just annoyed. I'm not. It's just like when you lay out the foundation for something and people just try to just dig up the holes around it or just destroy the pavement. It makes no sense to me why somebody does that. You're in our tournament. Just have fun. That's the whole point of this, is to come in and have fun. Everything else, just be happy you're here. I don't know. Anyways, number 16, you are not allowed to use Crusader or Lifesteal. However, if you get those on a weapon as like a weapon proc with Leech or something, that's perfectly fine. I'm perfectly okay with that. But I don't want Crusader or Lifesteal because it'll just make specific specs entirely too powerful. Even though I was told I was wrong on this, I'm not wrong because I'm not an idiot. I know fully well what it can do. Fury Warrior as, you know, case in example. I had some people tell me that I was completely wrong about how Fury Warrior can 100% just stay alive using Crusader, which it absolutely can. How do I know this? Because I've done it. How do I know this? Because my old teammates have done it. How do I know this? Because I raid with people who do this very method. I see it. I've ran dungeons with people before. I know exactly how this works. Life still does similar things, just not as good as Crusader. And Crusader just means it's pretty much mandatory. If you're going to play a warrior, it just means you're stuck playing a Fury Warrior. So the best way to gimp it is to just remove Crusader and get a little bit more creative. If you want to use the landslide achievement, you can. If you want to use Elemental Force, you can. Just do something different. Don't sit there and just try to muscle through it with... I don't know. I don't think it's too much to ask. Again, if you want to get armor and stuff with Leech on it and speed, that's fine. I don't care. Speaking of speed, number 17, you are allowed to use Shadowlands gems. So if you want to use Shadowlands gems and go really fast, or if you want to use them for health regen, that's perfectly fine. I think it's a nice little balance of, you know, you sacrificing main staff for speed and regeneration powers. That's perfectly balanced in my opinion. I think that's fine. I've had arguments with our previous staff on this before because we did not allow Shadowlands gems at one point. And I never really thought of them as being an issue personally. I know some people didn't like them being used in raids because it just made a healer pointless, which is not true because it only ticks a once every 10 seconds. And a healer is going to be healing a lot more than just once every 10 seconds. So, yeah, if you want to use Shadowlands gems, have at it, boo. You're perfectly fine. Number 18, you are not allowed to bring buffs from classes that are not part of your comp for the tournament or the attempt or whatever. So, like, if you don't have a mage in your group, I better not see or catch you using Arcane Intellect. If you want to use a scroll from the auction house or like an enchanting or whatever, if you want to do that, that's fine. Because that's just, there's no rule on saying that you can't do that. I just don't want to see somebody with like Fortitude on them or Battle Shout and they're not playing with those classes in their group. And I had to make this rule because last time somebody was literally trying to do that, and it's just, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to, if you want that kind of buff, make sure you have that on your team. That's all I'm saying. Where are we at? Number 19, you are not allowed to use okay. Number 19, you are not allowed to use buffs of any sort outside of the dungeon, which I'm referring to like world buffs. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed, honestly, but it's just the fact that it takes too much time, and I think it's just better not to use world buffs. It's not like it's hard to do it, like getting ahead of Onyxia or going through Dire Maul. I don't think it's really that difficult to, take the time to do this at all, but I think it's just better for everybody if we don't allow it in general. I do, however, think it'd be fun because I'd like to see what kind of creative tactics people have, but I'm just not going to acknowledge it for this one. So let's just say, for the sake of everyone's peace, we're not going to allow world buffs. Number 20, you must be in our community to participate. This one left 2 people sour in the last one. I had somebody that was trying to invite somebody from another community. At first I said, no, I'd like it if they were in our community, and they can leave after the tournament. I'm perfectly fine with that. That was apparently a no-go. The whole reason is, like, if you're going to be in my tournament, or our tournament, or whatever, you know what I mean? If you're going to be in L30's tournament, you should be in L30's community to participate in said tournament. It's... I feel like it's kind of obvious, just, like, come join in. Like, if you want to leave afterwards, I don't really care. You can go. Like, hopefully you stay. Hopefully you come and make friends and, hang out. But if you don't want to be doing anything outside of that, that's perfectly fine. That's within your right. You can do whatever you want. I'm not going to hold a gun to your head, so. Also, it makes it easier to communicate with everybody. Like, if you're not a part of the community, I can't, like, have you in a special tab or something relating to the tournament, so. Alright, we're going to go over the list of banned items, and so far I've only got a couple things on this one. I'm sure there's more. I'm sure somebody's going to come up with something that I haven't even thought of, and, we'll deal with that when we deal with it. But as of right now, number 1 is the Ooze Trinket from Shadowlands. That's just going to be a no. It's just, honestly, it's just a bullshit trinket that still needs to be fixed by Blizzard. I think the game would be a lot better off if we didn't have that trinket. I understand people like it, but no, we're not going to allow it in the tournament. The toy windmill or drums. Personally, I am 100% fine with having Bloodlust drums, but it was decided against it by other people, so yeah, we're not going to do drums. I think drums would be fun, though, and there is a trinket called the toy windmill. I have never actually tried out this trinket, but from what I hear, it's extremely overpowered. So I think it's just better if we just don't use it at all, even though it's got like a 15-minute cooldown. But no, we're just not going to use it. The next one, number 3, is the high-powered cracked radiant Radanax gem. I never even heard of this until just a couple weeks ago. I was advised not to allow it, so we're just not going to allow it. I have no idea what it does. I've never even seen it used in action, but we're just not going to allow it. Number 4 is the gun shoes. I like the gun shoes, however, we're not going to allow it. No gun shoes. Like, it's just, I'd rather people be able to stick together so we can make sure the add-on works, so that's my reasoning behind it. I'm sure there's going to be some, blowback, pushback. There always is. These tournaments never have everybody being happy 100%. And I've gotten kind of used to it over the years. After doing this going on 7 times now, you kind of expect people to whine about the dumbest things, but it is what it is. If you know of anything that doesn't scale, feel free to, contact me on Discord or just message me on here. I will try to respond to you as quick as I can. If you have a question and I'm not available, you can always just ask another officer and they'll probably tell you what you need to know. If not, they'll ask me. So, you don't have to disclose this with other people outside of that. So, if you just have any concerns, feel free to reach out. Obviously, this one's kind of obvious. It's not a rule, but it's just, what needs to be said. If you violate any of these rules, it'll result in your team being disqualified. The rewards for the top 3 teams will be announced at a later time. Well, that one's not so much now. It's just going to be gold. I was thinking about adding something else, but it's just going to be gold, straight up. Maybe in the next tournament we'll just have gold as a side thing, and number 1 will be like a Blizzard store mount or something. I don't know. We can always see what the community feedback is on that, and I'd be more than happy to work with people on it. So again, these tournaments are pretty easy. It's just 4 dungeons. It doesn't take very long at all to run. If you only want to make a team and run once, you're more welcome to do that. Everyone's going to get something out of it, so like every team that participates, even if you don't appear in the top 3, you will still get about 5 to 10k just for playing. All you gotta do is run 4 dungeons. It takes no time at all. If time walking as an event is the thing, you literally do that within an hour. So this tournament takes no real effort. I suppose I should go ahead and go over the 4 dungeons that have been decided via the poll. Number 1 is Skullomance. Number 2 is going to be the Scarlet Halls. Number 3 is the Freehold. I hate the Freehold, but people wanted it, so I guess we got the Freehold. And number 4 is going to be Heroic Gundrak. If I remember correctly, I think we actually had Gundrak in the first tournament. It's been a couple years now, so I guess it'd be fun to go back and revisit and see how this is going to play out. But this will be the Heroic Dungeon. You have 14 attempts to submit that one, so... But yeah, these are the rules. Sorry if I sound a little pessimistic about it. It just kind of, I'm kind of just tired of dealing with people's negativity on some of the things. Like, again, there's a reason why we do everything that we do, and people need to understand that. I'm not trying to attack or just discourage anybody. I just want to challenge your creativity on what you can do, and quit relying on gimmicks. Like, nobody likes gimmicks. It's just... It's not good, it's not healthy, it's not fun, it's not engaging, it's not exciting to watch. But yeah, if anybody hears this and they're interested in trying this out, I mean, all you need is a friend, level 30. It doesn't take much at all for gear. You don't even have to really min-max this. You just need a partner and just follow the rules and just go run your dungeons. I mean, it's really that easy. I mean, obviously, we can do this with just 2 teams. It'd be nice if we had more teams, and I know this isn't everyone's flavor. I had somebody actually discuss that not last week, but a couple weeks ago. They were telling me, like, participation for this isn't always high, and I'm like, well, yeah, because this is a raiding community. We almost never do dungeons, so obviously it's not for everybody. I mean, like, at max level, I hate Mythic Plus, per example, but I love doing the raids. The raids are fun. I hate doing the dungeons, but I love doing the raids. So, I mean, it makes sense to me why people aren't always excited for this. It's just like a little event we do once in a while. Like, we do raids almost every single week. Once in a while, we'll do a tournament like this, and I'd like to add other kind of tournaments going forward in the future as well. Maybe we'll stop doing the dungeon tournaments on Season 10, whenever it gets to that. I like to do these once every 6 months. But it's just, I don't know. If people still want to keep doing it, we can. Like, I'm perfectly fine with it. And hopefully we get, like, a better casting team. We will not be doing this one with Starship. Don't think we're going to be working with Starship anymore going forward. Sad to say. Very annoyed by that. Very sad by that, because I actually really enjoyed them. I thought Starship was really fun. But it was just a lot of bad communication. And, I mean, it is what it is, right? You can't win everybody over constantly. And I've learned as being a GM of this community for a while now that you really can't please everybody, and just you got to do what you got to do, and you got to do what you think is best for everybody, and try to make the most people happy over the minority of people that are trying to be happy. I guess I think Leonard Nimoy said it best: like, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, and I just want people to have a good time. Like, I don't want people to just abuse it or take advantage of it or whatever, but I just want people to have a good time. So, but yeah, if you're interested in participating, please do. All you need to do is make a teammate and make a banner with the team name. I mean, my team, we're going to be called the God Hand. We have a reason for that. You'll find out. So far, we have another confirmed team. There's a couple other teams, but the 2 confirmed teams is my team and Fate's team. Fate's team is going to be the Wowza Dipshits. The name is exactly what you would expect from them. They know what they're doing. I hate the term. I hate the name, but hey, can't convince them to do anything different, right? Am I right? I think I'm right. But anyways, there are a couple other people that are going to be participating too. They just haven't submitted their information just yet. And worst case, we just have 2 teams, and that's perfectly fine. It's going to feel very Naruto and Sasuke like, very Goku and Vegeta like, and I'm very excited about that, because if it's neck-to-neck battle like that, I'm fine with it. I mean, hell, let's go. I'd like to compete with Fate. I think it'd be really fun if me and him were like going for first place. But, you know, hey, more teams would be nice too. But anyways, on that note, my name is Sicario. Thank you guys very much for listening. Please support the channel by leaving a like and subscribing. This will be on Spotify sooner or later. Probably too late for the tournament, but you know, hey, whatever. I still got to get these episodes on TotemCast on Spotify. So, all right, you guys have a good night, and until next time, see ya.